What's up, everybody? My name is Vincent. Welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about everything under the moon in the crypto universe. Today is Monday, January 17th, and today we're going to be talking about the lands in TCG World and why they're set to explode in 2022. Now we're going to do a case study and analysis of the lands and compare it to its competitors, and this will help you understand why this is just primed to do so well this year and why you should acquire one at this point in time. Now before we begin, be sure to like that button, hit that subscribe button. Those are very important. Make sure you stay in tune to what we're doing on this channel because we provide these updates for you. And if you guys aren't notified in time, you may be too late. So don't forget to subscribe. And also, everything that we're going to talk about today is not financial advice. It's just for financial entertainment, opinions, and also for your information. So let us begin. Now, I want to give a shout out to some of our Patreon members and also our YouTube members. Now, Joseph P. from our Patreon said, "Boom, this looks killer, especially considering the recent drop in BNB price. Thanks for the info. I went all in with the land in each quadrant, a farm in the north, and some coins." And when he says coins, he's referring to the TCG Coins 2.0, which you can find on CoinMarketCap. You can also buy it on BitForex or PancakeSwap. Movement M also said, "I ended up getting a Gold Forest and Gold Asia. Super stoked. Thanks for the heads up." Rich V also says, "Welcome to the Gold North. This is always great to know that my Patreon members love this type of content, and I'm so glad that you guys are involved." So shout out to you guys, and also to our YouTube comments, which was Juan G said, "Yes, I will be buying it up all like the Doug Dimmadome." And also Sandbake says, "TCG World is a great project." So guys, shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for commenting, and I'm so glad that some of you have already acquired that land. Now let's dive deep. So Metaverse, as we know, has been a Google trend ever since Meta was announced by Facebook. And ever since then, worldwide, it's been still at high interest for everyone. And that's because, unfortunately, it's because of the COVID variant that's been going around, and also the shifting of lifestyles. People are working more at home. People are choosing to communicate more from home and also socialize from home. So the metaverse was actually geared up perfectly for that, and why a big company like Facebook is changing that direction. Now, what you guys need to know is that millionaires are flocking to the metaverse right now. So recently on CNBC, they announced that the most expensive spots are near or where a lot of the users congregate. For instance, someone recently paid $450,000 US to be Snoop Dogg's neighbor in the virtual land. Now, why are people wanting to flock to the virtual lands? Now, lately, if we look at these figures, I'm going to go ahead and scroll up to the top here. Now, I'm showing you statistics between Sandbox, Decentraland, and some other competitors, right? So right now, as you can see, the blue is Sandbox, and right now it's been doing quite well even before the Meta announcement by Facebook. But notice this, well, there's something to the model of Sandbox, right? Let's talk about the value as well. The value on Sandbox is higher than its competitors. That's a huge thing. Now, the floor price for these parcels, which is what Sandbox refers to their land plots, their parcels has been actually increasing over time. So based on this chart, ever since October 19th, one of the cheapest versions that you could buy of a parcel was around $2,000 or less. That's extraordinary. And then, as you've noticed, ever since October 28th, when they made that announcement, the price of Sandbox parcels has increased, and now the floor price is around $10,000, $15,000, between that range. So that's where the price is going. Now, with this CNBC news report, they interviewed one of the CEOs of Republic Realm, and Republic Realm recently came out with a report that basically states where Sandbox and other metaverses are actually booming in price. And why is that? Well, simply because there's a set allocation of real estate. So as there's Bitcoin that has a set supply of 21 million, and that there are some other coins out there that have a set supply, well, what's great about the metaverse is that it's not inflationary, right? That means there can't be more land built. That means that there's a set supply of land on each of the metaverses. So say, for instance, with Sandbox, it's around 166,000, and that's it. That's all you can buy. The fact that there aren't more properties or aren't more lands being built means that there is less around to give to people, and that's the most important part that you need to know. And that's going to pay off later into TCG World, which we're going to find out in a little bit. this one I think I want to really share with you because this is from DApp Radar. Very important. Land value in Sandbox has reached new record heights. Individual land parcels are now generally cost around $10,000 to $15,000. Now, however, adjacent land parcels can form an estate of 3x3 or 5x5 land parcels. The value of those estates will even be higher when it's located close by or next to famous brands. The Sandbox already announced partnerships with The Walking Dead, Atari, Deadmau5, Snoop Dogg, etc., etc. The most important thing is, even though you own land, what do you build on that land, right? You shouldn't just say, oh, I'm going to buy land and then I'm going to sell it or flip it or whatever. You have to incentivize why people will want to be there. So the work continues after you buy the land, and that's something when you acquire it, you have to keep in mind when you do buy it, is that you should increase the value of that land, build something on it, attract people to your land, right? So that's something I want to share with you guys as well. And just within the past year, right, we went from 5,700 landowners for Sandbox, and now in January it's 18,000. That's how much it's grown. So we're going to skip Sandbox because the whole point of this is to show you statistics. Now with TCG World, it's almost based on a similar model, right? We're built on scarcity. Now around here we have around 100,000 plot lands, right? So these are the commercial plot lands. We have Asia, Northeast, Forest. And when we go to the map of the actual TCG World Metaverse, now when I go to gold and on sale, we're going to apply that filter. There is something that you've noticed in this chart. These dark areas are the areas that have been sold. And notice that these dark areas are selling around these commercial plot lands. This is going to be where the brands and millionaires are going to want to go to buy these different plots to advertise and build that brand awareness. And people are buying them up. And also notice another thing. They're buying it up around the city as well, because right now we don't know what's going to be in the city, but it's the main hub. It's the central point for all these different lands. But no matter what, consistently, we are seeing that these areas are being bought up near these commercial plots, right? So if you're going to buy land, be sure to buy land either around the commercial plots or maybe possibly by the city. But imagine, say Adidas or Nike decides to buy this land, just as an example. Well, that means your land right here, if you bought right next to it or even close to it, would be worth more. So that's something that you need to keep in mind when you acquire that land. Now, another thing I'm going to show you guys is the social score on TCG World, because honestly, it's been going up again. And that means there's renewed interest into the TCG World market. And you need to keep that in mind. That's something to always put on your radar, because that means that people are understanding what this TCG World is. And also people are becoming more aware. You can find this out on playtoearn.net if you want to find that information. Now, let's go into the BNB price. I'm going to reload this because this was actually a price yesterday. And you can see here that it always fluctuates. So right now, BNB is actually 473. That's the price right now. And the reason we keep that in mind is because we want to understand how much each plot land costs. Now, when I go to the next slide, the gold plots right now are for 1 BNB. But after 90% of those gold plot lands are sold, guess how much they're going to cost as a base price? It's going to be 7 BNB. So you multiply that 474, multiply that by 7, boom, you got your price right there. So that is something to keep in mind. Now, the last slide I want to show you is the most important one out of this whole presentation. That is the scenarios, the prices, what we can expect in the year term. So let's look at scenario 1. So right now, a gold plot is what we're going to focus on right now, not the silver or platinum, just the gold plot, because I think realistically you guys are buying that more because it's affordable. It's around 1 BNB, right? We saw that as 474. But we're kind of roughly going to range it here between 450 to 500. I decided to do a realistic price of around $500. Now, if BNB is at a realistic price around $500, well, if that converts to 7 BNB, not to say that it will convert automatically, but your land will immediately become worth that much once 90% is sold. So your base price would be 7 BNB. That means your land plot that you bought for 500 once 90% is sold will now be worth 3,500. That means you wouldn't sell it less than, but it could even be more than that. So that's the base price. And it could be, you could sell it forever how much you want depending on where you are, right? Because we talked about how that person bought $450,000 worth of parcels on Sandbox. So say for instance you had 4 plots of land, 1 in each sector, Asia, farm, north, east. That means your 4 plots of land would give you an estimate around $14,000 worth of plot lands. That's amazing. And I do expect that that's going to happen this year. That's my projection. Now, scenario number 2. Now, this is if the bull market continues. Bitcoin decides to be a legal tender in certain countries, but also there's more regulatory clarity around Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Bitcoin ETFs get approved. That means BNB and all these other cryptocurrencies are going to reach new all-time highs because now institutions are going to put their money in. That means BNB could hit a price of around $1,000. That's just my projection, right? Well, that $1,000, once your land becomes the 7 BNB base price, that means your land alone, just one of them, is worth $7,000 base price. So multiply that with 4 lands, you have $20,000. That's because you invested just $500 in each land. That's amazing. Now, I'm going to talk about scenario number 3. Scenario number 3 is more of a comparison of how you can compare Sandbox to TCG World. So imagine that each plot of land on TCG World reached the floor price of Sandbox, right? We were talking about how it could reach between 10,000 and 15,000. Well, if it was at 10,000, if you had bought this BNB around right now between 450 to 500, that plot of land would be worth 10,000. And if it were to sell with 4 plots of land, the Asia Farm Northeast, you'd receive around 40,000. Same thing with the plot land for the floor price of 15,000 for Sandbox. If it were to reach that price, because we have brands, we have celebrities buying these plots of lands, and it would reach up to 15,000, well, guess what? You're going to reach 60,000 with all your 4 plots of land. Again, these are just conservative prices, conservative, super conservative. So that means you should expect that these prices will reach new all-time highs, and that you should expect that in the year ahead, that TCG World is going to do so well. So guys, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much my case study analysis. I wanted to share with you my thoughts on where the land plots could be worth in the near to short term, or even within this year. So guys, leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. How much do you think the plot lands could be worth in a year? Possibly 2, or even shorter. I'd love to know. And also, where did you acquire lands? Did you buy in Asia? Did you buy in the Northeast? Where did you buy these from? And where are you allocating your lands from? Also, have you acquired the TCG coin token, which is a 2.0 token that you can find online? How bullish are you on that? And also, how excited are you to see that brands are going to be adopting this? Are we early? Are we just beginning? Or are we just set to explode within the year? So guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Be sure to like that button. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next time.
Thanks for watching Cryptolution. Register on our Patreon page for our insider training tips and more. And don't forget to click on the affiliates link below to receive sign-up bonuses and access the Global Crypto Assets Exchange. Invest safely, and we'll see you on the next episode of Cryptolution.